Hi, this is Shane Jackson at Steel City, and I've been getting a lot of questions about which cue I like better between the Tony Layne and the Alex Brick Diamond Wood jump brake cues. So I wanted to make a small video and a little review of both cues and tell you what I thought about each one and the differences between. So here I have the Alex Brick Diamond Wood jump brake cue, and this is done in the Applejack color, which is like a bluish charcoal and red. And what I like about this is that he did a little tapered, flared out jump brake handle, and Tony didn't do that, but he just did a straight taper, which is straight tapered down. The Tony Layne is done in what I like to call the Superman color, but is actually called Regal, and it is blue, yellow, and red. So the difference between the two, I guess I'm going to start here at the top. If you want to get a little closer to the tip and ferrule. The Tony Layne done here in the Regal color, he used G10 with a white pad and red carnelian Juma, where Alex Brick decided to go with a white diamond and a black phenolic ferrule, and a little bit longer in size. But for grip and spin, I like to use the G10. And then the last thing I'd like to mention about the shaft difference is the Tony Layne is a little skinnier, coming in at like 12.78, and the Alex Brick is right around 13 millimeters, so a little thicker shaft, a little thinner shaft. This taper is a lot better for breaking the balls, and it actually works a little better for me for jumping the balls too. It's a little skinnier, a little longer of a taper, and in my opinion a little bit better. One of my favorite features of the Alex Brick against the Tony Layne is that Alex didn't put a clear coat on the butt handle of the cue. So that allows me to take the cue ball and really just beat into the cue. I could drop it, ding it, hit it off anything. And Diamond Wood is pretty much indestructible. So if you got, somebody on your team who doesn't play well, who is inexperienced in using cues of any sort, you can lend this cue to them, give them a shaft, and let them go crazy, and they can just ding it up, or beat it up, I should say, and it won't ding up at all. So I have no dings in the finish at all. The difference is Tony put a clear coat down, which he said kind of makes the process of making the cue a little longer. And he said that he might not go with the clear coat feature later on in making the cue, which I think would be a big plus to, I don't want to do it to this one, but if I do that, it'll definitely clear, it'll definitely ding the clear in the finish. Last but not least, one thing that I really like about the appearance of the two cues is that Tony Layne actually takes the time to sign the cue, and his signature is very clean and very nice, where Alex Brick decided to go with a small logo for his name, which I like for how clean it is, but I don't like for people who don't know what that stands for. 20 years down the road, say one of these Diamond Wood things is still around, someone will go, what is this logo? What does this say? But if you see this, they know that it says Tony Layne, and that Tony Layne made this. Nobody knows what this logo is unless you're really into things and you really know what an Alex Brick jump brake cue looks like. Alright, first I'm going to jump a couple balls with the Alex Brick to show you the ease of these. Sometimes it jumps a little too much and a little too much. These cues take very little effort, and it's just a little dink to get you up and over the ball. I'll do one where I make it, or get pretty close. Next I'm going to jump a couple balls with the Tony Layne, and again I prefer the G10 tip over the white diamond for control, so I'm going to give that a try now. So you can see I can put a little low on that ball and draw it back, which I did by accident, but still kind of happened. The last thing that I was going to mention before I close out is breaking the balls, and I made mention to it earlier. I prefer the Tony Layne over the Alex Brick for the smaller millimeter in shaft diameter. This is 12.75, or this is 13 millimeter. The taper of the Tony Layne goes down a little farther, allowing for a little more follow through, and it doesn't break your bridge hand open unless you break with an open bridge. But it's better to use a closed hand bridge for control. And again, for gripping the ball and putting a little spin on the ball when I break the balls, I prefer the G10 over the white diamond. When it comes to actually purchasing the cue, if I was to buy one cue or the other, again, since I bought both as a compare and contrast, I would definitely pick the Tony Layne. Just a little more attention to detail. He puts more rings at more locations, and he just takes a little more time to make the cue a little bit more personal. You can message the guy on Facebook, and he'll make anything that you want. You can message me and pick one out, color-wise, any color coordination that you want. But overall, for the price, they're roughly the same price at $275 each. But when it comes to jumping and breaking the balls, I prefer the Tony Layne over the Alex Brick, and that's just my choice and my opinion. That could be up to you. If you're around, you can more than likely try both cues from me, but in the end, you're probably going to like the Tony Layne.